What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We back at it again with another video, and today we're looking at some more Dead Island 2. So IGN came out with a final preview, so we're gonna check that out. So without further ado, let's get to the video.
As the one survivor seemingly immune to the zombie infection running rampant in its quarantined Los Angeles setting, Dead Island 2 lets you become the most pugilistic plastic surgeon in Hollywood, doling out blunt force facelifts to every valley ghoul and undead surfer dude staggering around its post-apocalyptic paradise setting. During my recent hands-on with the first 5 hours of this long-awaited zombie-slaying sequel, I had a blood-splattered blast becoming the rotting flesh prince of Bel Air, and turning every floor in the city into a ghastly red carpet. Even if it did feel at times like I'd curb-stomped a lot of these same skulls before. After surviving a plane crash in its opening moments during an aborted attempt to escape the city, Dead Island 2 sent me on a search for fellow survivors from Bel Air to Beverly Hills. The Los Angeles setting is not one big open world. Instead, it's 10 districts stitched together by loading screens, and despite the presence of countless abandoned vehicles, you're forced to remain carbon neutral by roaming around entirely on foot, at a speed that feels somewhat listless in the wake of Dying Light 2's high-speed wall runnings. Still, each section of the city I've seen so far is sizable and encourages exploration and return visits, with interesting side missions to discover,
Hello? Don't run away!
and overpowered super zombies to encounter that will slaughter you with a single hit if your character isn't at a high enough level. Speaking of which, Dead Island 2 allows you to choose from 6 different slayers, each with their own base strengths and weaknesses. Amy is...
I like the weapon variety and the fact that, you know, you got different types of characters that have different sets of abilities or have different strengths or weaknesses. That's always good to see.
Agile and athletic, able to regain stamina with each weapon throw and gains a damage boost when attacking isolated zombies. While Stuntman Jacob has more health and his attacks grow more powerful when landed in quick succession. For my playthrough, I opted for Ryan, the more tank-like member of Dead Island 2's playable cast, who regains health every time he knocks a zombie to the ground. Ryan is described as an exotic dancer and is dressed like a fireman on his way to a bachelorette party, but the closest he gets to a stripper's pole is the steel pole he uses to strip the arms and legs off his undead assailants. Building on each character's base stats, Dead Island 2's skill card system allows you to tailor your character traits to best suit your playstyle. It's a refreshingly streamlined approach that contrasts with some of the more convoluted skill trees found in other modern action adventures.
Yeah, it's simple because it's cards, and it's just like everything is in a category, and you get different cards for each category. So, and it's a visual representation. So after a while, you already know what something does just by looking at the picture of it. So that's pretty good. You always know what's going on and what abilities you have.
Allowing you to choose between basic abilities like blocks and dodges, and then layering on cards to further enhance them. The bulk of the cards I unlocked as I progressed to level 10 during my hands-on were useful though not especially game-changing, like gaining health from well-timed blocks or performing a war cry to receive a temporary boost to toughness. But I'm assuming that some of the flashier superpowered abilities will come in the form of top-tier Newman cards, which I'm unfortunately yet to come across this early in the adventure. You don't need a poker face to handle Dead Island 2's deck of cards, but you will need to poke a face, stab a torso, and lop off.
That is a sick weapon. Let me go back to that. That's a mallet that's being ignited by some contraption. Like, what the hell? Like,
but you will need to poke a face, stab a torso, and lop off an arm or two during each and every encounter with LA's population of meat puppets. Thankfully, you're armed with a unique assortment of improvised utensils in order to tackle Dead Island 2's all-you-can-beat buffet, and many of them feel enjoyably distinct to use. From the satisfying way a heavy attack with a sledgehammer knocks enemies into the ground like fleshy fence posts, to the rapid blows of the brass knuckles that allow you to punch a zombie's brain right out of the back of its skull like you're pitting the world's angriest olive.
Bruh.
Most of them can be upgraded with various mods and perks, like souping up the set of Wolverine-style claws with electricity to bring some extra shock to the ore, or covering a baseball bat with nails so it inflicts persistent bleeding damage with every swing. There's some strategy to
the gore is out of control. I don't even know if I can show this on YouTube.
Weapon choice too. A fire-augmented hammer is less effective against a zombie that's already in flames, for example, so it's good to load up with a set of smacking and slashing tools to suit all occasions. My mastery of my arsenal was tested during one side mission, where a Gen Z influencer tasked me with dispatching waves of monsters in various specific ways in order to capture footage for her channel.
Throwing the content creator vibe in there. That's some modern, nice modern touch.
At the end of it, I'd bludgeoned, bisected, and barbecued enough undead assailants to fill her Twitch stream with a steady stream of twitching bodies, and had plenty of laughs while I was at it. This was just one of a handful of memorable set pieces packed full of more rancid zombie varieties than you can shake a barbed wire covered stick at. From enjoying a backyard cookout with freshly grilled ghouls, to dousing undead paramedics in water and lobbing car batteries at them to shock them into submission, to tearing through the zombie cast and crew in a Hollywood backlot, I relished the opportunity to carve out a Californian killing spree in a blaze of gory glory. Despite these hysterical highs, there are early signs here that the decaying flesh hanging off its shuffling citizens might not be the only thing that could grow stale in Dead Island 2.
Really?
And it could potentially become a fairly repetitive experience over the course of the adventure. Building interiors are notably reused at times, and so are a number of mission objectives. I've had to replace the circuit breaker on an electronic gate to stop the advancing zombie hordes on more than one occasion already, which seems a little uninspired.
This'll work.
In spite of the extensive weapon augmentation and skill buffs, combat in Dead Island 2's opening hours too often boils down to just clumsily caving in zombie skulls with a bunch of blunt instruments. And once the horrifying thrill of the gore has worn off...
I mean, that's kind of what it's about. That's what the zombie apocalypse is. You're not going to have a bunch of AR-15s laying around everywhere unless you find a military base that hasn't been cleared out yet.
Grinding through these garden variety ghouls does tend to feel about as challenging as bashing a piñata without a blindfold on. On that note, it was striking me as odd that I'd spent 5 hours in the land of the Second Amendment, rummaging through the personal safes and panic rooms of the rich and famous without finding a single firearm. But right at the end of my hands-on, I received a call on the walkie-talkie from returning series character Sam B, informing me that he had a lead on a gun, and acquiring it was to become the next story objective. That was certainly an enticing way to finish. The guns you see in this footage were unfortunately not available during my hands-on, but their inclusion in the final game in combination with a few more weird and wonderful enemy types and the Berserker Fury mode hinted at in recent trailers has me feeling optimistic that Dead Island 2's combat will evolve enough to keep me on the hook throughout the course of its limb-lopping tour through La La Land. There's certainly a strong foundation for flesh-flaying fun here, so here's hoping that after a 9-year wait for Dead Island 2 to come out, it ultimately proves to be beyond a mere shuffle step forward for the series, and more like a pulse-quickening lunge for your jugular. For more IGN previews, check out our hands-on with crime boss Rock-A City and Final Fantasy XVI, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
So basically, it looks like it's going to be fun. It's just going to be repetitive after a while. So the thing with games like this is the difference between whether they're good or bad is how long they are, in my opinion. Even a great game like Dying Light, after a while, it's like, all right, I've done everything. I've done every jump. I've done every whatever. I've done everything. I have every weapon, you know. So that's why you got to be careful with these games, not to make them too long, because then they get boring after a while. I think these days we all have a shorter attention spans because there's so much things that are dragging our attention, whether important or just leisure activity. So I think games really should be shorter, especially games like this. You get in, you get out. And this game should right here should be no more than 8 hours. Yeah, no more than 8 hours, and that's probably me being modest. But I know it's probably going to be realistically more close to 10 to 12 hours because, you know, as a developer, you want to put everything you can in your game without breaking it and without making it too, without making it like boring or anything like that. So I understand that, but yeah, this game's looking dope. I don't want to. This is another game I don't want to pay full price for, but I know it's gonna be full price because it's a sequel to a very successful game. So we'll see. We'll see how much it is when the time comes. So when does this game come out? I don't even know when this game comes out. I think it said June or something like that. I might be bugging, but I think it was June. Nope, April. So it comes out a little bit over a month and a week from now. So for, you know, all the usual suspects except Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo, I see a lot of games not coming out for the Nintendo Switch. They're not going to be making a downported version of these high fidelity games, you know. So Nintendo, unless they're only going to just focus on making first party and not really care about the third party, which it seems like they already do, they have to step it up. That cloud shit is not it. That cloud service to get AAA games to run on your console is not it. We need the full game. There's been rumors of the Switch too, but I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, this game is dope. Definitely gonna be checking it out. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do you like this game? Do you think it looks good? Let me know. What's the word? So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.